Beneath the billowing canopy of the traveling carnival, where the air shifted with the sweet allure of candied apples and the comforting warmth of fresh popcorn, the sad clown performed his daily ritual. His name was Cherubino, a playful nod to cherubs and the eternal innocence suggested by their chubby, cheerful visages. But in every mascara-streaked eye that lined up to see him, he knew himself as infinitely more complex, infinitely heavier. Through the cobblestone pathways of the festive ground, tangled in the laughter of children swinging from colorful rides, Cherubino danced with infectious energy. His large red shoes, oversized and floppy, echoed through the dirt, a parody of his own heart's weight. Every exaggerated action was a nuanced routine, bathed in sharp slaps of his inventory of comedic misfires, showing the fluidity with which a human heart can be both a vessel of joy and a pool of sadness. He maneuvered through his procession of tricks, each one punctuated by a painted grin that spanned ear to ear. An explosion of balloons in one moment, a surprise squirt of water from his plastic lapel flower in the next. Every act worked to a raucous crescendo, like the grand opera of silent film heroes, with gestures both broad and intricate, speaking more than words might allow. Surrounding the branded vibrant colors of his costume, stitching as much a prisoner as the soul residing inside, Cherubino's presence was a beacon in the shifting tides of family foot traffic. Each child his gaze settled upon erupted into giggles or reached out to test the very idea of this fantastical creature before them, a real-life comic character whose essence belonged to dusty pages of an ancient joke book. To the left, a little girl sporting pigtails clutched her cotton candy, eyes wide with awe, her mouth forming an O of amazement. Cherubino leaned forward, gravity defying in its absurdity, to gently boop her nose, a classic move met with a chorus of laughter from surrounding parents caught in the tethers of his theater. Yet beneath each embrace and smile lay a stitching, aching to burst, each stitch a secret wish for the touch of genuine connection, something pure beyond the facade. Once alone, nights that followed were often somber affairs, an irony not lost upon him as he peeled away the layers of joyful disguise. So much did he long to vary his routine, to breathe cleaner metaphoric air. Yet this life of performance passed seamlessly from day to night in but one breath. His crafted identity, rich in color and contradiction, was both his craft and his curse. As the twilight hour breathed near, casting an indigo curtain across the once livid sky, Cherubino retreated with his caravan behind the veiling tents. But for now, in the warm embrace of midday sun, Cherubino surrendered again to his autonomous role behind the canvas of the stage, swirling with sounds of the carnival, bells, shouts, laughter as melodic as any known lullabies. An emotional dissonance thickened the carnival air, transforming it into a cocktail sweet enough to sip, sorrowful enough to linger. In the moment of controlled chaos, the sad clown had learned a truth, that the universe wore some form of mask to every show, that each person, by default, was meant to play as both actor and audience. A peculiar truth, yet familiar in his world of painted faces. In the dim glow of the carnival's backstage, where strings of bare light bulbs buzzed gently against a tapestry of night, our clown would retreat each evening. Here the scent of grease paint and sweat lingered thickly in the air, mingling with the muffled echoes of laughter still reverberating from the main tent. His small dressing room, a sanctuary of sorts, stood adorned with costumes splashed in every color of the rainbow, yet dimmed by the shadows that cradled the space. As the clown sat in front of the aged vanity, its mirror rimmed with flickering, mismatched bulbs, he faced his true self. Removing the layers of makeup was a ritual that revealed more than just a bare face. It was an unveiling of the depths of his loneliness. Each swipe of the makeup remover pad was a gentle casting off of the bright, exaggerated illusions beneath which he hid. With each stroke, as the mask dissolved, the playful arches of painted eyebrows and the wide crimson smile became memories, fading into the cleansing water, as if the expressions themselves were reluctant to leave his face. All that remained was the weary, pensive countenance of a man, burdened by the laughter he inspired in others, yet couldn't find within himself. Behind the mirror, his eyes told tales of solitude, echoing the soundless laments that filled his hours after the spotlights dimmed. The loneliness was an unseen burden, more profound than the weight of any costume. In the silence of the dressing room, the clink of brushes and jars breaking the stillness, he felt an ache that no rapturous applause could alleviate. Every night, the ritual was the same: the muted snap of a latch being undone, the soft crackle of the mirror light as it flickered to life, bringing into stark relief the duality of his existence. He longed for a hand to hold, a true companion to share his silences with, someone who could see beyond the paint and props to the man he was. Through the thin walls, the muffled world outside continued on, oblivious to the battle waged within. The other performers, a thrumming hive of activity and mirth, reveled in their camaraderie. Voices filled the air, punctuated by bursts of laughter, yet to him it was a distant melody, one he was no longer a part of. The clown's isolation was a paradox. In the crowded circus of life, he was the solitary figure under a spotlight, a single note played in a cacophony of sound. The camaraderie that came easily to others in the troupe seemed to evade him like a misguided dream. His existence was lived on the periphery, close enough to feel the warmth of others, but never quite able to share in it. Still, amidst this solitude, there was hope, a flickering, fragile hope that someone, anyone, would someday see past the colors and laughter and understand. To understand not the performer nor the spectacle, but the man who, with every brushstroke removed, sought only to reveal his truth. He held on to each day, performing with a vigor he did not feel but could convincingly portray. His audience saw a clown, joyous and full of life, while he saw a ghost, haunted by shadows of happiness he dispensed but could not reclaim. As the final bit of rouge was wiped away, and the last smear of white vanished from his skin, the reflection staring back was once again ordinary. His face, marked by years of smiles past, bore the lines of 1,000 untold stories, stories of a soul yearning for connection, for understanding, for escape from the temptation of silence that grew louder each day. The room once more fell silent as he rose, the clatter of the chair a soft punctuation to his departure. The costumes around him, vibrant and lifeless, echoed the carnival's colors, a reminder of the world he would re-enter once again, a magical, joyful place where he played the part of the source of joy, all the while carrying the unseen burden of his solitude with quiet dignity. The door closed gently behind him, sealing in a moment a place and a face he rarely shared. Tomorrow, the clown would grace the stage anew, painted and polished, while behind the grease paint his heart bore the truth of his existence, waiting, always waiting, for a miracle of connection amidst the carnival of life. The morning sun crept gently over the horizon, casting a golden hue over the small town nestled near the edge of the woods. Here, amidst the whispering trees and the lilting melodies of early morning birdsong, life stirred gradually, shaking off the tendrils of a lingering night. The local park, a small oasis of serenity amidst the bustling shouts and hurrying footsteps of urban life, lay still quiet at this early hour. On a solitary bench overlooking a small pond that shimmered with the first glimmers of daylight, the clown, known across towns for his infinite reserve of cheer, sat alone, stripped of his whites and cherry reds, devoid of the colorful braids and outlandish garments that had come to define him. In their absence was a man whose true face, washed of grease paint and spectacle, bore years of a struggle hidden behind a joyful facade. From a distance, a figure approached carefully, respectful of solitude, yet firm in purpose. This was a friend, a confidant who had glimpsed through the colorful fog of carnival joy into the haunted eyes of the man behind the clown. Years of performing together, of mutual backslaps and quiet exchanges, had weathered their bond into something resilient. Today, intentionally at Dawn's embrace, they met with a purpose deeper than sprightly companionship. "It's beautiful here," the friend noted as they took a seat beside the clown, their tone filled with a tranquility that murmured of understanding. A kind of understanding elusive to many, but clear now as the dawn. The clown, with an out-breath that trembled slightly as it left his lips, nodded. "It is," he whispered. A ghost of the humor he wielded so effortlessly on stage in those two brief words. Silence cocooned them for a moment, punctuated only by the soft rustle of leaves under a gentle breeze. Here in this tranquil park, the clown began his unfolding, shedding layers of a scripted joy to reveal the unadorned self beneath. It felt fragile, this revealing, like stripping bark from a tree, exposing the soft new skin below. "I've spent so long trying to make them happy," he began, his voice a reflection of the introspection that had been woven into the quiet hours of the night. "Every laugh, every cheer, they always seem to take something from me," he continued, look softening as he cast it over the water, fluctuations in the surface mirroring the unshed tears in his eyes. "But what about you?" queried the friend, gentle yet insistent, his presence offering both challenge and comfort. "What do you gain from it? Do you ever find a bit of that happiness for yourself?" The clown paused, considering yet lamenting the answer he knew his heart held. "I've been afraid," he admitted, the words releasing a tension long wound tight around his soul. "Afraid that if I sought happiness for myself, the people I perform for might lose it altogether." His friend's eyes were steady upon him, compassionate and wide with encouragement. "You deserve that happiness too, and it doesn't take away from anyone else's," he said gently. "Imagine if your joy fed theirs, rather than came at its expense." The sunlight broke through the leaves above them, dappling the ground with spots of warmth. A visual metaphor for this burgeoning hope taking root in the clown's heart. He stayed silent, absorbing the notion, feeling the possibilities slide over him like soothing balm. "Let's start today," the friend proposed, clapping a warm hand on the clown's shoulder. "Together, let's find what makes you smile without that makeup. Life isn't a stage, it's shared moments. And I'm here for that journey with you." The clown looked up, the weight on his brow lightened by small degrees. He sensed a tentative shift within, something beginning to crack open, a cycle, maybe, allowing in the shifts of self-acceptance and liberation. As the sun continued to rise, bathing the park in clarity, the clown and his friend began to walk the gravel path, each step an embrace of change in the making. It marked the first steps of reclamation, facing the specters of irony and embodying a truth more profound than performance. Soon, this new path promised, joy might find them together, not as a mere mask, but a moment bona fide.